Thanks for joining us here on 13 News at noon. I'm Dustin Grove. We begin with big news from the State House today. Governor Braun has called a special session for lawmakers to consider congressional redistricting. This would involve redrawing our 9 districts, something normally done after the census every 10 years. I want to put a statement up on the screen here. In a statement this morning, Braun said, "I am calling a special legislative session to protect Hoosiers from efforts in other states that seek to diminish their voice in Washington and ensure their representation in Congress is fair." This is all part of a push from the White House we've been telling you about to make sure Republicans keep the majority in the U.S. House during next year's midterm election. The GOP has a very slim majority right now, and historically, the party in power has lost House seats during midterms. Losing just a handful could put a Republican majority in jeopardy. Supporters for redistricting say Democrats have gerrymandered their states for years, so Republican states need to do the same to balance the maps. To that end, President Trump and Vice President Vance have been working the phones. Vance visited lawmakers here twice, encouraging them to redraw our congressional maps to pick up 2 more Republican seats next year. 7 of our 9 districts are already Republican. Texas, North Carolina, and Missouri have already adopted new maps meant to give the GOP more seats. Ohio, Kansas, Nebraska, Louisiana, and Florida are all Republican-controlled states considering it, along with Indiana. In response, Democrat-controlled Illinois, New York, Virginia, and Maryland, along with California, they're all considering their own partisan redistricting pushes. I talked to Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith about it for this weekend's episode of Crossroads Politics.
I think for years we've had this idea that if we're just nice, everyone else will be nice. And unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. I think Donald Trump, one of the greatest presidents in our lifetime, in my opinion, he's shown the Republican Party how to fight fire with fire.
When does it end? At what point does it end? If you're saying, okay, we'll do this now mid-cycle, well, who's to say then under a Democratic administration we flip the script and in another 2 to 4 years we're here all over again?
What this will do, and what I hope it does, it forces the Supreme Court to make rules that everybody plays by across the board. So this is a good step because it's going to force the Supreme Court to get involved. Absolutely. I think that's a good thing. I would be against redistricting if I could trust our states, our fellow states like Illinois and California and New York to all play by the same rules. The problem is they're not. And so it's going to take the Supreme Court to get involved. So for Indiana to do this right now, this is one more step to say, Supreme Court, we need you to tell us the rules that everybody plays by. And at that point, then the issue's solved.
Governor Braun now making it official. Indiana will hold a special legislative session starting November 3rd, although it remains to be seen whether there are currently enough votes in the Senate to get it passed. A spokeswoman for Senate Republicans told our partners at the Capitol Chronicle the votes are not yet there. Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker is on this story today. She's going to have the very latest for us starting at 4 o'clock, and of course we'll post it online. There's a big write-up on this and the background on it at WTHR.com.